episode 3435, Let Go of Blame.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Kristianne Wargo.
Happy day. Are you ready to shout it out with me? It's Friday. Yay! I'm so excited. I hope you are too, because that means you get a break. Maybe you don't get a break. Maybe you're traveling. Maybe you're on vacation. Maybe you're just working out. Wherever you are, take a deep breath. Let go of blame. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already even had the opportunity, you'll want to head on over to createyournow.com, where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. You know, sometimes we just can be so overwhelmed. And you know, it's confession day, so it's time to let it all hang out. I don't care what you're doing. I want you to be honest with yourself today. Because sometimes as parents, right, we can bring about the heaviness of failure when it comes to how well it's going for parenting. It's like, yes, I'm on fire. Oh, no, I'm in the ditch. Oh, yes, I am awesome. I'm the best mom ever. And what was I thinking? But if you don't allow yourself to fail, you will never see the other side. Love. Let go of blame. You know, I think about being a mom and just, parenting in general, and I'm thinking, yeah, who gave me the license to parent? Well, you know, we can have that conversation, but sometimes we plan it, sometimes we don't. Our 5 beautiful children were not planned. We wanted children, but we did not plan them in the order that they came. We didn't expect them to come as soon as they did, but you know what? It was okay. We made it through. And I think we don't always know what it's going to be like to parent until we are a parent. Your kids, right? You probably had that conversation. Oh, you just don't know until when you're a mom, you'll understand. I hate those conversations. Oh, I had it. My mom told me that too. My grandma told my mom. My grandma told me. Oh, you just wait, hun. Wait till you become a mom. And now I'm a mom and I'm like, oh man. And I hear it, you know, in my head. I'm replaying that VHF tape. Oh no, that kind of dates all of us, doesn't it? Okay, well, we'll pretend that we didn't hear that. And so, you know, it's one of those things you're like, come on, we just find ourselves walking this fine line between supporting our children, saying, yes, you can go do this, and then losing ourselves in the process of raising them. And you're like, I wanted to be this incredible mom. I wanted to be this incredible dad who could stand up and be everything to everybody. That pressure to be perfect, does it overwhelm you? I think it does. It overwhelms me. Not every single moment, but at times I sit down, I'm like, I just need a deep breath. I just need to stop for a minute. And when things don't go as planned, it's easy to fall into that trap of blame. I can remember I was planning a really, really, really big trip for the family. This was our biggest trip ever. We were going on a destination, vacation, holiday excursion. Yeah, that's setting you up for failure from the very beginning. I mean, just say F, 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 F all the way. Not that kind of F, like the F on a report card F. Okay, that one. Just wanted to clarify that because I know I'm already getting the hate mails. Don't send him, don't send him. I didn't mean that. I have wise words here, not yucky words, you know. Anyway, so I just set myself up for like it's going to go all wrong. And I spent hours upon hours trying to make sure everything fell into place prior to us even leaving. And we had everybody going every which direction. We have 2 pilots in the family. Some were driving and others were flying in and some were coming from another direction. So we had about 5 different interactions on how to get to the destination choice for our holiday excursion. It was fabulous. It was wonderful. But at times, I honestly thought like, oh, this is just going to go bad. And then we had a couple hiccups. I figured out the hiccups. But guess what? Anytime something went wrong, what do you think I did? Oh, it's all my fault. Now, I didn't act that way around everybody, but inside, oh, I was dying. I was like, are you serious? You could have done better. What if you just? And then I lived in that moment for a while. And it wasn't like everybody else was doing that to me. It was me. It was a self-inflicted blame. And I think a lot of us live that life because we're trying to be perfect. We're trying to do everything right. We want to be that best mom. We want to be that incredible parent that says, you know what? You are incredible. Like, you're beyond that. You're magnificent. I'm sitting here watching the Olympic trials, and I love them, and it's swimming and diving and all of it. And they do interviews with the parents of the swimmers, and I'm thinking, I wonder if they ever sat back and said, gosh, if I just would have done this. Because you see, this is the U.S. Olympic trials, and they have it different for every single country, however they run theirs. But here I'm watching the U.S. one, and they're going to be kids. I know they're adults, but most of them are. There's a lot of kids there. I mean, anybody younger than me is a kid. Okay, I'm just saying. And there's kids on there that won't ever make the Olympics. And I know, because I was one who had that dream. And if I was that mom, I honestly think I would be sitting there going, well, what if I just would have taken her or him just one more time? What if this would have changed? What if we made this decision to move here, to train here? But let me ask you this question. What if you shifted your perspective and embraced the idea that it's okay to fail? When you let go of that blame, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and deeper connections with our children. Failure is a part of life. Failure, my friend, is not the end, but the beginning of love. And that's a hard one to think about. It's a great one to chew on. Failure is not the end, but the beginning of love. We've got to embrace that mindset of, what helps us as parents as we navigate the challenge of raising kids without losing sight of ourselves in the process. You can't lose who you are and who you are becoming because of your child. Why should you give up on your dreams? Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to go be an Olympic ice skater. I'm too old at this point, and if I try to jump, I will probably break something significantly, and I don't want to go down that road. But if you're still young and you have that opportunity to, let's say your dream was to be in the Olympics, what would that look like? Would you go ahead and train hard? Maybe you're considering, gosh, I want to go back to school. I want to get my degree. I found out that I was pregnant on my way to medical school. What do you think won for me? My child did. My family did. I couldn't have two of us in school. It was going to be crazy. A first year and a second year with a baby, and I didn't have my parents around to help. They were overseas in Belgium. My dad was stationed there. So I wouldn't have my mom available. And I'm like, and my siblings, they were still young. I couldn't ask them to help me. And I was like, it just doesn't feel right. What is it for you? What is it that you're like, I want to go for it, but now as I look back, I probably could have been pretty awesome in med school. I would have finished. Maybe I would have had to set out a semester or even a year because I may have needed some things regarding the baby, or just time because of my schedule, my husband's schedule, and because we were both in school, how that would knock heads together, and we may have to have some logistics. But in reality, I know I could have done it. But in that moment, I said, no, this is not my child, my family. Now, I was still working. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't just sitting at home doing nothing, okay? I had a full-time job. I was going to school. I was an entrepreneur then. I actually was a musician who was taking private lessons on the road. So I went to everybody's home to teach them piano and flute lessons. And that's what I did. And it was wonderful. It was fine. So I wasn't like I was totally bored, had nothing to do, and let's just add this to it. It was something that I wanted to do. I was young. I could have done it. But it wasn't the right decision then. But you know what? Many years went by, and I'm like, gosh darn it. And I blame myself. Why didn't you take that chance? So worst case scenario, you would have quit. True. And so I would replay that scenario over and over and over and over and over again. You see, sometimes we sit here and we take ourselves and our dreams and what we think needs to happen, and then all of a sudden when something doesn't work out, we ingest the pain serum and the blame serum that says, I got to hurt some more with this. Let's just inject some more. Oh, wait, let's do this. I just can't let go of it. If you want to get to where you're going and to becoming who you are, you got to let go of blame. That is your Kiss to Keep It Simple strategy. Let go of blame. To be that great parent, right? You're on that journey of greatness, for miles of greatness. It takes that one step. But you've got to be willing to let go of the blame. You can't sit here and start pointing your fingers at yourself all the time and saying, oh, if you just would have. Yeah, if you just would have what? I had this conversation just a few days ago with my mom. I'm like, well, maybe I need to give up this, or I could do this. And she's like, stop. At what point do you really need to give up versus give in? Maybe you need to give up the blame and give in to who you are becoming and not lose sight that you matter too. Because when you understand that, then you can raise incredible children. Then you can impact the world that you touch. We use our kids as excuses all the time. Let's just take weight loss. I love this one because I was right there. Oh, I need to lose weight, but I don't have time. Oh, the kids, I'm coming and going. And I've got a job. I mean, my schedule is so jam-packed. There's no way I can. Every excuse. But I equated it back to the kids. I already attached the kids. Oh, I can't do it. I'm, mom of 2, mom of 3, mom of 4, mom of 5. I mean, I could keep counting. I did things with kids. I worked with over 120 kids called this group that in various churches that we attended called Praise Kids. We did 3 mini musicals a year. In some areas, we actually traveled a little bit. We would do performances out in little amphitheaters in the park. It was awesome. Took a lot of work. Guess what? They were all my kids, sort of, kind of, not exactly, but I love them as such. I don't have time because I got all these kids, not just 5. I got 120 or wherever I was, however many, right? We sit here and we blame, and it's not blaming the kids. It's saying, okay, yeah, I can't do this because, and we end up saying, yeah, you failed. It's all your fault. And then it doesn't allow you to get to the next thing. And then you get stuck. And then you wonder why you can't go on. Why you can't get to where you want to go because you're still stuck at where you wanted to be. Let go of blame. It's holding you back. And it's holding your kids back. None of my kids, I wanted to be in the Olympics. I have 5. None of them ever mentioned to me they wanted to be in the Olympics. I never pushed them to be in the Olympics. That was never their dream. That was something I wanted to do. But sometimes blame can lead to pushing our kids in a direction that we wanted to go. Did you ever want to be that cheerleader? Did you ever want to be the leader of the band? And you just kept pushing your kid like, oh, you got this, because you were living vicariously through them. That's what happens when you can't let go of blame. You hold on to it. You harbor it way too much. You hold it too close to your heart. So what does it look like to let go of the blame in real life? Number 1, practice self-care. Oh, this is so important for us as parents. We got to prioritize our well-being and mental health. Yes, you got to sometimes take a time out. Yes, you may need to get a massage. Yes, you may have to get a babysitter because you need help. And if you don't have the money to get a babysitter, then exchange it with another family and say, hey, I'll watch your kids if you'll watch mine, and vice versa. Take time for those self-care activities. The meditation, the exercise, maybe it's hobbies. If you're a swimmer, you may not want to swim for the Olympics, but go swimming, just you and maybe your husband, if that's something you want to do. Because what happens? It recharges you. Last night, I know this sounds crazy, But last night, I got this book, and it's an incredible book. I'm in the middle of writing a book. I know more to come on that too. So I'm reading this book, and I've got lots of books, doing lots of research and marking things up and everything, because I just want to bring the best to you all. And yes, I got to bring the best, right? That doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. Notice the words I used, right? The best. And I got the book, and some of the books I get, they're there, and I only use like a couple pages in the book because I want to see what it says, and I use it, but I don't really read it. Now, if it's an interview, which we've done hundreds on here, I read it from cover to cover, and I'm all in. I write the questions, all of that. But this book I ordered, it wasn't for an interview. It was one of interest. I happened to see it on one of my good close friend and mentor and coach who I highly respect, and it just happened to pop in my feed. And I looked at it, and I read the title, and I was like, So I ordered it. Well, lucky for me, I must have been on the right, train, because I had like 20 minutes, and it could be here by the next day. So I got it yesterday. And I opened it up. I'm like, oh, yeah, this really does look like a good book. So me, because I'm looking into publishing and, doing my book and all of this, I'm always looking at who published the book, when was it published, and all of this. So this book was published in 2014. I'm like, oh, it's not brand new. It's not hot off the press. It's 10 years old. Okay. So I just set it down to the side, and I did more work throughout the day. And last night, I kind of tried to finish up a little bit earlier, which was really not that early. It was just a little bit before midnight. And I thought, you know what? I really want to read this book. Now, mind you, I'd been up early since about 5:30, and it's now midnight. And this book is sitting there, and I'm closing down my studio. And I look at it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to read a chapter. I really want to read this book. It jumped out at me. I don't know why. So I grabbed the book, took it to bed with me, sat up in bed, and read the first chapter. And I was like, now I know why I needed to read this book. More to come on that later. But it was one of those things where it recharges you when you do something. Some people would say it was after midnight. Yes, but it was something where I slept good. I slept soundly. Now, my sleeping soundly was only like 4.5 hours, but it felt amazing. I woke up and I was like, this is great. Even though I was up past midnight. But I did something to end my day with an exclamation point of reading a chapter in a book. That little thing allowed me to wake up then the next day and show up as my best self for my children, for my daughters and my sons. What if you gave the world, and specifically your family, the best of you instead of what's left of you? How would that change? Maybe you need to read a chapter a night. Maybe you need to take a hot bath. Maybe you need to go for a run. Maybe you need to take a staycation and have everybody else leave. How are you going to care for yourself so you can care for the ones you love the most? Number 2, when you let go of blame, what does that really look like? You got to set boundaries. Boundaries, for some reason, people are like, oh, it's taboo. We can't talk about it. No, you've got to establish clear boundaries with your children, because that allows you to maintain a sense of self while still supporting them. Boundaries help create this healthy dynamic, and they teach children about respect and understanding. And this goes for any age, whether they're 2 days old, 2 months old, 2 years old, 20 years old, or too old to count, that you've already lost count. You're too old, and you're like, okay, they're older. That's wonderful, right? I'm kind of getting to that point. Psychologist Brene Brown says this: daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. When you hold on to that blame, number 1, you've disappointed yourself. Number 2, you're going to disappoint others. Because number 3, you're not willing to do what it takes to get past what you're holding on to. Boundaries. You got to set them. That doesn't mean you have to be wild about them. That doesn't mean you have to be, this mean person to yourself, but you need to set those boundaries. And you need to accept them and say, okay, this is where I'm at. This is where I need to be. Number 3, seek support. Parenting is a journey, right? Best shared by others. So reach out to friends and family. Maybe you need to have a counselor, someone who has a professional license to support you. That's important. Sometimes we need that. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, in my opinion, everybody needs a coach and a counselor. Everybody does in their life in order to get through it. And when you connect with other parents, you can provide for each other a sense of community. And you can kind of go off of each other. What did you do during this? Or what would you do? Or, okay, great. I know now I'm not alone in my struggles. Dr. Brene Brown again says, connection is why we're here. It is what gives purpose and meaning in our lives. Are you doing what you need to do that allows you to release the blame so you can see what matters most in front of you? Because a lot of times we're just stuck in, I got to do this now because I got to do this now. And we're just always putting out the fires. Mom, that's great to be a firefighter, but come on. I'm talking about being a firefighter in your own family, not outside in the real world, okay? Just so you know that. We can't keep living our lives running around with our head chopped off because something else is going to go too. Burning the candle at two ends, what happens when the candle's cut in half? Now you got four ends, but something's gone wrong. You see, we kind of forget that in order to be the best parent we can be, we have to be our best person first. So who are you becoming? You can't become who you are supposed to become in the midst of the change if you don't let go of the blame. And when you let go of the blame, that can be transformative in your journey of parenting and your chapter of life. By embracing the ups and downs and taking care of who you are and setting those boundaries and asking for help, you then can support your child while staying true to who you are. Right? It's not about losing ourselves. And I think a lot of moms find themselves in that. Dads, you do too, but moms especially. Right? I mean, we've all been there. If you're a mom, and maybe you're not a mom in the sense of that you have children, but you're a mentor mom. You can lose yourself too. I have talked to many, many women who are teachers or who work with children in some form or fashion, but they have no children of their own. And they are wiped out, burnt out. They're like, I just don't even know sometimes. Like they don't even know who they are. They look in the mirror and all they see are kids. They don't see a reflection of who they are. When you begin to lose yourself, you begin to lose the reins of love. That means you can't extend it anymore. Remember, failure is not the end, but the beginning of love. So let go of blame and see what blossoms. Go in peace, be present, be incredible, be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed weekend. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.